Hi, this is Daniel from the Ultimate Guitar Academy, and I'm going to show you how to play the G major chord today. Now, the word major in music doesn't need to be said, so we can simply call this chord G. In order to play this, I'm going to start with my pinky and my ring fingers. They're both going to go to the 3rd fret on the high E and then the B strings. If you're using 88 Dynamite Good by Eddie, that's all the way down, 88 Dynamite Good by Eddie. My ring finger goes to the B, my pinky goes to the high E. This is going to be my anchor point. An anchor point is a point of reference that allows you to quickly remember and find the chord, which equals faster chord learning and faster chord changing. So once I get my anchor point down here, it's a great idea to practice from nothing to those 2 notes over and over again, as many times as it takes, 100 times if need be, just so that you get used to those and can find them easily. From there, you actually have permission to stick your finger up at me now. My middle finger goes all the way to the low E, all the way to the top of the guitar. Low E is Eddie from 88 Dynamite Good by Eddie, the very first Eddie that you'll say. From there, my index finger should fall relatively easily to the A string 2nd fret. Let's go through all that again. I have my anchor point, B and the high E on the 3rd fret, middle finger all the way to the low E, also 3rd fret. So everything's 3rd fret at this point. Index finger 2nd fret on the A string. This equals my G chord. We need to give this a big strum, every single string on the guitar. Just like so. Make sure your fingers are nice and curly, which means the G and the D strings in the middle here are clear. We want them very clear. We also want to make sure the A string is not being made dead by my middle finger over here. We want to make sure that the A string is nice and clear. There is an alternative way to play this chord, which is like so. The difference here is the B string is open, which means I don't need my ring finger. Because that's kind of awkward, most people will play the ring finger on the high E, middle finger to the low E, index finger on the A string, like so. Now, I have a very strong opinion about these 2 different chord shapes. The opinion is that this shape, with both fingers on the top 2 strings, is the much nicer sounding shape. It's also a more contemporary modern shape. You'll find this in pretty much all songs with G from 1985 onwards. The other version, which is this, is something you find in a lot of older music, usually from the 60s and the 70s. The sound is ever so slightly different, and it does take a bit of a trained ear to pick it up. If you're going to play the version where the B string is open, I highly recommend using your pinky on the high E, ring on the low E, and middle on the A. It's extremely awkward at first, but it allows you to quickly change from G to C in a snap. It also means you can add these fingers and play chords like a G sus4, which you find also a lot in some older music. The other version where you've got both fingers on the top strings means you can't do that. However, you can reach in front. So to quickly recap, my main recommended way to play this chord is pinky on the high E, ring on the B, middle on the low E, index on the A, or pinky on the high E, ring on the low E, middle finger on the A. Remember, this chord comes from step 2 of the Ultimate Guitar Method, for which you can find some links to below, as well as a downloadable PDF for this chord. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, keep shredding.